and I'm going to share the screen, or you want to start talking?
Sure, yeah, you can share the screen. So my name is Sandra Tavares. I'm a program manager at the Salvation Army Family Life Resource Center. We are the women's shelter in Brampton and brought together a short slide presentation to give you some insight into the shelter program. Um,
I'm just trying to launch it.
Yeah, no problem. So we have the shelter's been in existence since 1986. So this is a big year for us. This is the 40-year anniversary. So later this year we will be having a celebration, which is a major milestone. The shelter has 18 self-contained units. So in each unit can house a mom with one child, or if we need to, if we have a larger family, a mom with up to six children, or we've had even more. And during their stay at the shelter, they'll be assigned a primary counselor who will do psychoeducational counseling.
I'm going to stop sharing, Sandra, just to see if I can get this going. Just
Yeah, sure, sure.
you keep chatting.
The PowerPoint is really more useful to show you some images of inside the shelter because the word has some stigma. Unfortunately, sometimes women are apprehensive to seek services because of the fear of the unknown of what does it really look like inside. It's not dormitory style. You have your privacy, you have your kitchen where you can make your own meals, and you can really create a temporary home for the family. So, in addition to being assigned a primary counselor who will provide emotional support, will do case management, provide referrals, as well as advocacy. The advocacy piece is really important. I think we know that a lot of parts of our system are broken. They don't function very well. But having an advocate walk alongside of us makes an incredible difference. And we see this especially in the justice system. And for that reason, we have a legal support worker. She is not a lawyer. She doesn't give legal advice, but she provides legal information, which is really important. Key things like how to apply for legal aid, the importance of choosing the right lawyer for you. And so there are many areas of law which support is provided. The biggest one is in the area of family, and those are issues related to uh, custody, or we no longer really say custody, it's decision making. Um, Issues related to possibly getting a restraining order. Um, Perhaps there are issues with trying to get exclusive possession of the matrimonial home. Um,
I'm going to share now.
sure,
Sorry.
consolidating assets and debts.
1 second, Sandra. I'm sorry for this,
Yeah,
but
no problem.
I got it another way.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And it's not perfect, but it's through your email. So this is the home. You just tell me to go ahead, and I'll go to the next slide.
Sure. Um, so I'm just going to pause here and talk a little bit more about the services that are provided. Um, so legal support, I talked about family, but there are other areas of law. For example, criminal. Oftentimes, the partners, there's criminal charges involved, and sometimes even our own clients are facing criminal charges. The other area, which is a big one, is immigration. We have a lot of women that come to us with no status or precarious status, and we walk with them through that immigration journey. And there's also housing. Sometimes women need advocates in tribunals for housing, as well as income support systems with Ontario Works or ODSP, WSIB, any one of those income streams. We have a children's counselor who is dedicated to ensuring that the children also receive services around counseling and their practical needs and their connections with school. Um, and we have a volunteer coordinator who, if anyone's interested in volunteering at the shelter, she can always find something. We have an outreach team. Those are three transitional housing support workers. So oftentimes the reality is the shelter is always full. And so our outreach workers will do safety planning, do referrals, and they will work with women and families before they come to the shelter, as well as upon discharge. So they also provide aftercare. The typical stay is supposed to be in the range of 3 months, but the reality is with this housing crisis and low income supports, a lot of our families are staying very long, closer to the 1 year mark. So that's a bit about the different roles um, and the different supports that are available at the shelter.
Can we go to the
Um,
next slide?
Sure. I think we're aware in what we see in the news and people in our social networks that we know that this social problem is very prevalent. About 2 years ago or so, Peel Region acknowledged that it is an epidemic. So that's a good start. We can go to the next one.
Yep.
Um, So COVID was a very big landmark in um, gender-based violence. Um, we always said that there was parallel epidemics happening. Um, there was the COVID, but there's also the silent epidemic of violence against women. Uh, Another factor that it's in research and it's very much seen in our work is that pregnancy um, increases risk to women. So for a lot of our clients, they say that the first incidents of violence happened or it escalated during pregnancy. And we see this because we tend to have a lot of newborns in the shelter. Just a few months, we had up to six little babies, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So now these are some images of what it looks like inside our program. So this is the main kitchen area. This is where families are welcome to have visitors and socialize with families. This is an inside look into one of the apartments. So almost all of them have their own kitchen. And that's key for healing because then our families are able to, make food that is culturally appropriate. And so our program provides the food. And so another special part of this program that I always put a lot of value on is that unlike other shelters where if mom has a male dependent, so a son who's in the teenage years, at other shelters, they will have to be separated because of the communal living. But because we have self-contained apartments, we're very fortunate that we can keep the family intact. So long as that child, that son, was a dependent of the family prior to coming into the shelter, they're also welcome to come stay with us. I think it's really important for family preservation, especially when going through a traumatic experience and the transition of trying to reestablish your life. So this is a living room in one of the apartments. And the next slide. Yeah, we were able to renovate 2 years ago, so we're pleased with that. And then this is one of the bedrooms. This came from one of our moms, and
Hmm.
it really touched us. So she said, taking my confidentiality and the fear that I have for my estranged partner seriously, I finally felt safe for the first time in 3 years.
Hmm.
So, um, we felt that was really important. In our society, unfortunately, violence is a little bit normalized, and um, we tend to minimize the violence as well. So, when our clients give us this type of feedback, it really speaks to how critical the program is, and that our staff validate her experience and keep it confidential and really um, facilitate what her goals are for the near future, right? This is our child minding room. We have an ECE worker. We take students and have volunteers that help child minding so that moms can attend to appointments, they can accommodation search, attend court, maybe have to talk to the police, and attend a host of groups that we provide. So, um, one thing I'm always talking about is that in Brampton, we don't have a transitional housing program. So transitional housing is step two to a shelter, where the length of stay could be up to 2 years. You still have wraparound supports, um, but you're expected to live more independently. And so this type of wraparound support system is critical for women that have a little bit more complex areas. So, for example, a woman that has to deal with immigration, that takes a long time. She's going to need at least a year and a half. A mom who may have health issues or doesn't speak English, she has to learn some English first, or wants to work on her academic or educational upgrading, right? Secure employment. Perhaps her child or children have special needs. So that takes a lot more time. And so in Mississauga, we have such a program. It's called ARMA, and recently they did expand and they have double the capacity now. And so I think it's really important to bring to people's attention that in Brampton, with our population growth, we really do need such a space, because what's happening now in the shelter, as I previously mentioned, that families are staying for much greater length of time, it's kind of creating a bottleneck. And so every day we have families calling us, and sadly, we just cannot accommodate them. But having a transitional space, then we could support families a lot more effectively. I also wanted to mention if you're interested in working with the shelter, there's opportunities there. There's every year we sponsor all the families that have stayed with us. So we have an adopt a family program. Um, the next big one is on March 6th. We'll be hosting our International Women's Day event.
I happen to have the flyer here.
Yeah.
This is fabulous. You sent it to
So,
me. Oh my.
so, yeah, Tracy, we were very fortunate to have Tracy MC the event about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we've been growing this event every year, and it's becoming quite epic in that
Mhm.
the tickets sell out pretty quickly just because it's a day of incredible company, really incredible women getting together, celebrating womanhood, um, having really strong guest speakers. This year we will have City of Mississauga Councillor Natalie Hart as one of the guest speakers. We will be honoring some women in the community that have really developed a lot of knowledge and raised women's equity in our city of Brampton. And yeah, so it will be full of activities, and it's just a great celebration and an afternoon party with really great food and an important networking opportunity because our most of our partners will be present. And this year, we're doing it different and we're collaborating with Roots Community Health Services.
I just want to say, for my experience being at this luncheon, I love because I get to have lunch with, I've had lunch with the women who live in the shelter, and you really get to know your neighbor when you're sharing a meal. And is really, really helpful for me because I put together a program at Christmas time where we collect gifts, and we like to give gifts to the moms. A lot of the children get toys. So for me, sitting at Sandra's luncheon and being at a table randomly, and there's people who are from the shelter eating lunch with me, it's fantastic because I get to really get to know what this service and the impact it's having. So I always appreciate that. And I don't know, Sandra, if you know that, but that's always my big thing.
Yeah, and we have so many former clients, so that women that have stayed in the shelter and now they're extremely successful and they want to come back, share their story, provide inspiration to the moms that are living with us right now. Um, so yeah, it's a fun day. Um, and if you're interested, please, reach out. I'm always happy to collaborate and connect.
We have a new lady who's jumped in. Would you mind putting your camera on, please? I think it's Aurelia.
Aurelia.
Oh,
Hi, Aurelia. I was just talking about you. Aurelia is actually one of our outreach workers.
oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Well, then if your camera doesn't work, that's okay. We're
Mm-hmm.
just being fully transparent here today to make sure we know everybody who's on the call. Um, so why don't we do the
Cool.
video? You have a video.
Yeah, so
Huh?
this video,
Okay.
it was made at FLRC, and it's a good characterization of the services that are offered. and you get to hear directly from some of our former clients.
Okay, I'm gonna share, see if I can do this. There we go.
Before I got here, I was involved in addiction, prostitution, you name it, I was involved in it. When I got here, um, I got a lot of help and support, and I found a lot of love. They changed my life by showing me that they love me when I didn't love myself. They showed me how to care for myself better, for my children, the resources of counseling, child counseling, counseling for myself. We are the Salvation Army Honey Church Family Life Resource Center, and we are violence against women shelter for women and children fleeing domestic violence. So we have counseling, we have legal, we have children counseling, we have child and youth support. It meant so much to me because they changed my life for the better. They changed me. Like I was at a point where I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe I could accomplish anything. Like there's good people who want to help you. And just because of your situation, it doesn't define who you are. Like it doesn't make you a bad person because of what you're going through. The Salvation Army saved my life. Like they can't get rid of me. They're stuck with me. And I had a group of women who didn't want anything from me. Nothing from me. Like, they just wanted me to do better. I'm grateful for that, you know. I'm gonna be forever grateful. We are very blessed in a way that we're not just working with the children, we're also working with the mom. So therefore, whatever work we do with the children is also done with the mom as well. I know when I have a conversation with a mom, the first thing I say to them is that I could be you and you could be me very easily. Whatever decisions they made, I made the same ones. I'm not here to judge that. I'm here to support. And whatever decisions they make, to support them. They know the children best. They know the situation best. I'm here just as a means of support. I work for them. I think the biggest piece is people don't always remember what was always said to them, but they always remember how they felt. So how we treat people and how we, you know, what we give a piece of ourselves to that person. I think that's what matters more than anything, right? More than anything.
That is a great video. Love it. I've seen it before, but I always love it because it tells a fabulous story. And I have a young daughter who's 27 and she's a social worker. And when she was growing up, my family, every year we would do charity work and support our community. I've lived in Brampton for 36 years. And I always told her that we only have one shelter in Brampton for women. And she said, that's impossible. And I said, you know, it's true. We don't really have a full system of networks to support more women. And your shelter allows pets, right, Sandra?
Yes,
So if
we
they
do.
have an animal they can bring, because an animal is very much part of the family core, as we know, and children, as you mentioned. But how many beds do you actually have? Like, Sandra, how many people can you help?
So 18 apartments, so 18 families.
18 families, and we are at a population of 700,000 plus. To me, it's an injustice for our community. And I believe there's a lot of work we can do. And I love supporting whatever you do, Sandra, and however way I can help. I'm thankful for the women who've come on to the call today, allowed me to record this because I'm going to put it on our YouTube channel. We will make sure it goes on the website, and we will promote it, because there's a lot of ways people can get involved. And if someone wanted to support you, Sandra, what would they do?
So, before that question, I just want to mention that we run a summer camp program,
Oh,
and right now the direction is very much focused on doing more prevention work with youth. We have groups that we run for young people. It's really important to try to help to break this cycle, and it can only happen if there's an intervention and support for young people. Um, and we, on April 8th, will be hosting a summit on engaging men. That's another area where a lot of work needs to be done, which is bringing men into this conversation and around healthy relationships.
mhm.
But everyone's welcome to get involved. There is, please share the flyer about the event. Um, if you are interested in, or know of anyone that would like to volunteer, um, or is interested in donating, just reach out to us. We really appreciate it.
I am putting the flyer, if I can. Here it is. I put the flyer in the chat. Does anybody have any questions? Did anyone make a comment? You're on mute. Unmute your, yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I have
I
a
am. Oh,
question.
here I am.
Sorry.
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
Um, yeah, so I think this is a something that is I think it's a situation whereby when a woman comes from a violent situation, she can't really transition quickly. So it's going to take not just 3 months to a year. It would take stages and stages. I think so there would be different people that she would associate it with, is my question to you. And then how do you go about that?
hmm So there's support from the primary counselor. We have an extension of our program is called Women's Counseling Center. And so those are psychotherapists. Their office is located in Mississauga, but we're really privileged that we have one in-house every Monday. We also run groups so that our moms, because one big thing with violence is it's very isolating,
Mhm.
and you tend to feel very alone, and we start to believe, wow, there must be something wrong with me. Why is this happening to me? But magic happens in group settings, because when women become comfortable to engage and they share their stories, it's so enlightening, because then women really start to feel, wow, this is not my fault, right? Um, if it happened to all these other women, um, then I'm not alone, right? And so that's why the outreach program and aftercare is crucial, because we totally agree. 3 months or 1 year stay in the shelter after discharge, the problems don't necessarily go away after that 1 year, right? Court probably continues, challenges with children continue. Feminization of poverty may continue. So I'm very passionate about trying to strengthen our systems um, to make things more, um, you know, better um, for women to be able to improve their lives.
Mhm. Anyone else have a comment or a question?
Um, this short change of not having a shelter, a big like Mississauga compared to Mississauga and probably Toronto and other places, is nothing new. There's a lot of things that Brampton is shortchanged on, including CCAC, who I've worked with. We don't have uh, the same I'm going to say privileges or services, let's just say services, as Mississauga or Toronto has. So I'm not surprised to hear this, but I'm also very saddened by it. So I'm just assuming that the time frame that they're in there, which is longer, it allows for the ability for them to have a place to go, such as an apartment through other means, such as welfare or something like that. I'm assuming that's the steps that are there. It takes time for them to go because they can't go back to their home that they came from, and in some cases. So hopefully that allows for that. But what are we doing, and what is our city doing in order to come up with more than 18 apartments? I mean, this is, I'm going to say disgusting. I'm sorry, it's disgusting.
No, it is disgusting. And I'm going to jump in and then I'll let Sandra answer the social. But it's really interesting how Sandra and I really, really, really connected. And I have a political side to me. I'm very outspoken in the community. I am always poking the bear, and I do it. I believe the city could be better. I just believe it could be better. And I don't believe enough is done. And I personally have we all have a story, but I came from a lot of dysfunction. And I understand exactly that statement. You outgrow the people, you outgrow your environment as you do more counseling, more work. It's like peeling the onion. So the stages that you're going to be in, we need the support systems to allow those people to eventually butterfly and fly away. And Sandra came to me because there was a fabulous house on Highway 10 that happened to be right beside Patrick Brown. Do you remember that, Sandra? And you said to me, how do we buy this? I want to buy this house and create a second stage housing unit. And I said, what a great idea. It was a huge mansion. The family couldn't sell it. They were stuck. They had it on the market for over a year. The price came down. It was ridiculously cheap for this huge mansion. The land was available. It would have been perfect. However, we come down to bylaws. And this is where we have a bylaw within our system where we're not allowed group housing, and it's restricted, the group housing. And I have been pushing council to change it for nonprofit or faith-based groups like this, because I don't think we have the economic means right now to go buy, to build. I don't think that's realistic. But what happens if the city purchased, because they love buying all this commercial stuff and it sits empty? What happens if we purchased residential homes and you had a family living situation of 3 or 4 families living in a home that was monitored by the program? Like, I believe there are ways to do this, but we have to think differently. And so to answer your question, the reality is government's got to change. Council has to change, or council has to start thinking differently, because we have an MP Charmaine Williams, who's willing to roll up her sleeves and dive into this issue. Women issues are very important to her, but we can't seem to bridge that communication with our current councillor. So I always found it interesting. Sandra and I got involved. We went down the rabbit hole. We learned a lot. Patrick was not excited that we were looking at the house next door to him, but it was all a good experience, right, Sandra?
I can imagine. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sandra. What is your comment regarding more housing?
So, and a challenge is that subsidized housing in Peel Region, the wait list is extremely long. And so this forces a lot of our families to migrate to other areas like Brantford, Niagara, where they do have a chance of getting housing. But the reality is, so many of our families, they cannot relocate easily, right? Their support system is here, or they have children with specialized learning plans and specialists. And so, um, yeah, so housing is an incredible challenge. Um,
That
yeah,
is something that has to be worked on. And to your point, it is disgusting. To your point, it's outrageous, actually. And I'm trying to bring as much awareness to this situation. I'm trying to see how we can advocate and work together. I think there are solutions. I think we have to think out of the box because we are in an economic crisis. So everybody is going to be cutting back and putting their hands up. And so how do you put your cause first? And that's really what this becomes. And so I think there are ways to do it.
I think, sorry, Tracy, not to cut you off, but my wish would be that government approaches issues with a mindset of community investment.
Mhm.
So, for example, during COVID crisis, there were a lot of funds used to place folks in motels. We ran an overflow motel program of up to 10 rooms that were always full. Um, but just more long-term planning, right? Because those portion of those funds in the future, it would have been good to invest those funds into actual properties or buildings
Yes.
that would outlast a crisis permanently. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, so I think we've had enough of these band-aid solutions. We need more investment in people.
Correct. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Just a quick question. Do you guys, like back in the day when I was a teenager, I was at the city region of Peel. You guys do work with Peel Nonprofit Housing. That is where I was at the time. There was still a wait list of 4 years, I remember clearly, to get a
Mm-hmm.
house. But that was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
How is the wait list now since I've been a student in, in the 80s? Because I remember that I was there and I remember people calling in and the wait list was 4 years. And I, to me, thought that was, 4 years to get a house like you really need it. How is it? Long is it now
So
to get a house?
the regular wait list is about 20 years. The regular
Whoa.
wait list.
Oh my
Um,
God.
our clients, if they're fleeing when they're fleeing domestic violence, so long as they can meet all the criteria, and some of it is very stringent, um, to prove that you were residing with that person within the last 3 months can be a huge barrier for a lot of women.
Gosh.
But if we can get that special priority status, they're still waiting, depending on bedroom size, anywhere from 3 to 6 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that has to be done. And I think we'll try and see if we can do some difference. It's an election year this year, ladies. It's October 26th. I hope everyone's aware of that. And I really hope that you come to the International Women's Day or share on social media. I put the flyer in the chat. Let people know this event is going on. I always learn so much when I am a part of the shelter. It's part of our community. And it's interesting, and I'll just close off. My family, we moved to downtown Brampton probably 20 years ago. And my daughter went to Central Peel. And one of the reasons I wanted my daughter to go to Central Peel is because I really believe in the diverse populations, different ethnic backgrounds, different levels of income. You can be on Scott Street at a $4 million home and go around the corner and there's, subsidized housing. And to me, that's community. And that's what I value. And that's one of the reasons I love Brampton. That's one of the reasons why I really support this community, because I believe that's what the real world is all about, is the diversification of what we represent. And so I don't want to end on a negative note. I believe there's hope. I believe there's a lot of opportunity. I believe there's a lot of chance for change. I just think we have to work smarter and kind of have a big version and a big goal. So thanks again for joining the chat. Next month, we're talking to Jeff Bowman, ex-councillor Jeff Bowman, and he's going to talk about Bovaird House, because here is a great example of a piece of property that our councillor did such an incredible job kicking out a volunteer program that was running the Bovaird House. Now it sits empty, and we as taxpayers pay for the maintenance. And so we have a housing shortage. Now it is in a heritage home. But again, these are the examples of mismanagement of property and mismanagement of how we could just do so much better. I just believe it. So next month, we're going to talk to Jeff. His wife was a volunteer at the Bovaird House. A lot of misinformation, and I'm really interested to hear what happened, because it was a successful program that was run 100% by volunteers and didn't cost taxpayers anything. And now it's gone. And we need more housing and we need more support. So that's what I'm going to do next month. And if you have any ideas or you want me to talk about something else, let me know. And I will go find the person and we will go have a community conversation about it. Thank you very much for everyone for participating and supporting this. This is great.
Thank you.
I will make sure on my newsletter, if you're a subscriber, you'll get the link and you'll be able to share it or support it. So thanks again, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic day. Unless does anyone have any more questions for Sandra? No? Okay.
Thank you both.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Thank
everyone.
you, Tracy. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye for now.
Bye.